Board of Works meeting. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? We do the roll call
Mayor Bonta,
here.
Member Newell,
Here.
Member Lewis,
Here.
Member Farkas, Member Maleta.
Here.
Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes, and are there any corrections or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Gets us to new business. We have Elwood Lawn Care.
sorry.
Oh, you're right. We did have a special meeting. Thank you. So, did anybody get a chance to look at those, and is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the special meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you for reminding me we had the special meeting. That'll get us to the new business Elwood Lawn Care appeal. I need to recuse myself on this one. It's my son's business. That makes sense. Thank you. If you'd like to come up.
How's it going? I'm Luke.
We're good.
So I had recently a property of mine mowed by the city over by Beverly, and I think that's Aylesworth Elementary. And they charged the client $613 nearly. So I would have to pay that, and it was an overgrown property that's vacant. So they went out and mowed it, and I just wanted to dispute the. I've never done this before, so I'm not familiar with how it works, but I just wanted to dispute the amount.
What do you normally charge? I looked that lot up. It's like just a third acre.
It's less than a quarter
Vacant
acre,
lot.
maybe.
Yeah. So what do you normally charge to?
Wide open mowing, it's about $35 a mow, and that includes weed whacking and then freeing of any of the clippings. And we like to maintain it a little bit more. Since there's not a house on it, the guy isn't really picky about it, or the client. He typically, once every 3 to 4 weeks, we can mow it, and that's fine. But during the school, or when school's still in, we try to keep it every 2 weeks just to keep the height down, and it keeps the school happy too, because it's right next, they share the fence line there that we mow inside of. This time it didn't get cut, and I think it was 8 to 10 inches maybe. But $35, and it takes 15 minutes typically. And if it was at the height that they mowed it at, to where they charged the price they did, I'd probably go up to $40, and it'd take 25 minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah, the charges, the $600 to seem pretty.
It does
excessive.
seem.
You know, when I looked at it, I thought it must be a big piece of property, had a lot of, but it's just it's a city, it's a regular city lot.
Yeah.
that It's not built on, right?
Because
Right.
that street, you have to have brick houses if you build, because that was grandfathered in, I believe.
Randy, is this something that you can speak on the department side? I take it was the street department that did the mowing? And they did a good job on the mowing. There's no dispute about that.
Well, the code enforcement, and I guess I'm going to be speaking on code enforcement.
I'm sorry, this is a code enforcement
They
matter.
did send a
Gotcha.
letter to the homeowner, or to the owner, and they also posted on the property on June 12th, indicating that they had 10 days to mow the lot. All right, on June 22nd, that order was given over to the street department, and it was actually mowed on 6/26. And the lawn, there are pictures before we mowed it. It was considerably high. The reason why we have such a high price on invoices, because the city is not into mowing vacant lots or distressed yards or anything else like that, and we do have a set rate within the invoice, so that is all
I
set.
think I might understand this a little better. So
Go ahead.
this invoice is for what the city is charging,
That is correct.
and what you're appealing is this seems pretty high? Like
No,
you-
what I'm appealing, actually, I should have gotten, or started with that, is the date, the 10 letters, or 10-day letter of compliance. They mailed it the 12th, I believe, and then 2 to 3 days for the U.S. Postal Service or the mail to actually, because he lives in Crown Point, he's not a Portage resident, so it takes 2 to 3 days at least. And if you go to the date that they mailed it, the 22nd or the 23rd, they didn't allow the 2 to 3 days for it to actually get to my client.
So your appeal is they mowed it too soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, do the members have a copy of that letter?
Yes.
Okay, you do, okay, all right.
I was wondering that too. It was mailed to the Crown Point address. So it was 10 days from the date of mailing, not from 10 days the date of receipt. I would kind of, I don't know, maybe this is that the charge should be reduced to what you normally would charge, say $40. That it should be reduced to. I mean, again, I'm just looking at that piece of property. And I understand, Randy, those could be business properties, they could be things that are like really out of whack that your regular charges would be for, but for this doesn't feel like that $600 is excessive. So I would say have the charge reduced to $40.
I'd be,
So is that a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion to have the charge reduced to $40.
I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. That'll get us to, oh, thank you. You can stay sitting there, but you don't have to, yeah. No.
Thank you.
So that gets us to the recommended CO1 2024 to CCMG. Hey, Sandy. No problem. Again, I had Randy speaking for code enforcement. I never know who's coming up, so.
Exactly. So what was in Dropbox for you guys is change order number 1 for our 2024-2 Community Crossing Matching Grant Project. This is the paving of Swanson North subdivision. It is an increase in the contract amount of $27,641.40. We are zeroing out our quantities in preparation to close out the project. We did go over on our asphalt amount. It was supposed to be a simple 2-inch mill and fill project, but once they milled off 2 inches, there was more asphalt that came out, so we had to put a little bit more down in some areas, which is considered like a wedge. So that's the purpose or the reason for the increase in the contract amount.
I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 1 in the amount of $27,641.40.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then that gets us to recommended CO4 Phase 2 of 2024 paving.
This is our final change order for closeout of Phase 2 paving from last year. This was the Blake and Independence project. It is a decrease in the contract amount of $257,577.15. Again, we were zeroing out quantities and used less than what was estimated.
I'll certainly make a motion that we approve change order number 4 with a decrease in the amount of $257,577.15.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I feel like when we're doing these in a row, I think that
Sandy, what happens with that money that's left over? Does it just roll into other projects?
We don't spend it, so exactly, it's less money that we're putting towards this project, but more that we have to put towards other projects that are already in motion or to start other projects. We do have a couple projects that we're going to have engineered out this year for construction next year, so it could go towards the engineering fees.
I feel like when we're in these meetings, though, it's like first there's the change, it goes up, and then the next one, it goes down. Like, I feel like we should have like a running like graph up on the wall, like as it go, like what's the net at the end? That gets us to recommended PA1 for 2024-2 CCMG.
This is for the Swanson North subdivision, the paving of it, and this is our first and hopefully only pay application for the project. It is for a total of $578,814.65. The department would recommend payment of this pay application.
I'll make a motion to approve the PA1 CCMG for the amount of $578,814.65.
I will second that motion.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That gets us to recommended PA6 for Phase 2 of 2024 paving.
This is our final pay application for Phase 2 of last year's paving project. It's the Blake and Independence project, and the application or invoice is in the amount of $15,035. The department would recommend approval and payment of this application.
I'll make a motion that we pay app number 6, is that correct?
Yes.
At staff recommendation in the amount of $15,035.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That gets us to the surf broadband violation appeal. You can come on up. If you could state your name, and we'll give you a few minutes to state your appeal.
My name is Shane Gannon with Direct Line Communications. We represent Surf Internet. What we'd like to appeal is the fines for the out of easement that was placed. As soon as we were notified, we moved those immediately the next day and took care of the situation fully and restored all the grounds. It was 3 foot. It was actually a little less than that. It was right behind the sidewalk. There's many times when it's in the tree lawn area, then it's behind the sidewalk. It's a variety of, that's what made the mass confusion. And the way the lines looked like that on the prints that were approved, it showed it behind the sidewalk, and that's where they had placed that. They had moved everything, and then we'd also noticed some others that weren't noted from you guys and notified the city right away, and Tiffany Mangus from our office contacted them and let them know that we were moving those as well. So I just think that if we could, those fines could go away, would be greatly appreciated.
Mr. Cherry, would you be able to come and speak on the planning department, or would you rather Sandy, or if you're comfortable?
This was 5 separate. According to the right-of-way construction permit application, it is, don't have my readers on here, a fine up to $2,500 per incident per permit. So this was in 5 parcels that they went out of the right-of-way, and they did rectify the situation afterwards, but it still occurred. We're enforcing these because of past, with all companies. So it's really up to the Board of Works. This is their first fine that they've incurred. So we let them know that they can come to the Board of Works to, plead their case, so.
I think that for me, it's just a question of, as noted, the violation did occur. It's 5 separate violations, adding up to a $15,000 fine. I appreciate that it was corrected, but it needed to be corrected one way or another. And the truth is, it's a fine because it shouldn't have happened, you know?
And I think in the past, it probably has happened and not been fined. You know, there were many permits issued before. There was a lot of work going on. I live in a neighborhood where there's been a lot of unhappiness, right?
Something I want to commend about Tom and his department, since Tom's come in, is they've addressed this with not just Surf, but with the other companies putting in wires where first they tried to see what our abilities were to handle permit applications, and the state got involved because there are certain things we're not allowed to deny. But Tom's team has been diligent by making it, I think, Tom, it's you have to do it one at a time, and we don't approve the next permit
It's
until
one-
everything.
Yeah, one permit at a time,
Exactly.
instead of 5 or whatever. So-
Thank you.
Was it 6? Okay. I'm sorry. I was
I-
doing dirty math.
Sorry.
5 on Fiesta and 1 on Marbella.
I got
Yeah.
you, so 6 total. And see, that is a lot, and I do think that it is important that there's both a penalty as well as a correction. That's my view, I'm just one member of the board.
In my view is that, there's a violation. It clearly says when you get the permit, notice violation permit may be subject permittee to a fine of $2,500 per incident per permit in accordance with the ordinance. I'd make a motion that we deny appeal.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And that gets us to the Sovereign Barbershop Special Event. Someone here to speak on, oh, come on up. Hey, do you guys want to just speak about your event and?
Yeah, so we always wanted to do a back-to-school event to give children, backpacks, free backpacks with school supplies. And so we wanted to throw this event to give kiddos backpacks and free haircuts as well. So we just want to help families, haircuts can be expensive. So my entire team wants to give kiddos free haircuts before schooling and free backpacks, and we also want to have free food for them as well, and a bounce house, and
we partnered up with a couple other vendors and local businesses. We have Blueberry Hill Pancake House, Ban's Pizza, Power Nutrition.
the bounce house,
Yeah,
we want to partner up with her as well, so she will
So she's
provide
bringing free cotton candy to the kids, and so
free
we just wanted
popcorn
to do something in front of our shop on August 3rd,
to give back to the kiddos and our
The
community.
community.
So I notice you're going to have it in your parking lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you need anything from the city in terms of any roads or anything blocked off, or?
We wanted to have, I know Blueberry Hill Pancake has half of the parking, so we wanted just to block off our parking lot, so we're able to have the bouncy house and the lines for the free backpacks and haircuts as well.
And also, we wanted to know, because right next door is the old KFC, and they're obviously not there, they're not using, we wanted to see if we could block off that area and use that, for the bounce house and all that.
I don't know if, Mr. Elwood, is there any component on that with what was said that actually comes in on the Board of Works? We're thrilled to have you here. We're thrilled what you're doing. Yeah.
That's gonna be up to the private property owner, whoever owns the KFC.
Okay.
He's a little bit hard to get a hold of. Sorry, but Mr. Assistant Chief Uselak, would you be able to speak? Is there any police concern that you'd want reviewed before an event like this? I think that's so cool. So, yeah, I think simply put, I believe you guys are all ready, good to go. We don't have authority over the KFC building, but I don't think you have much to worry about coming from that building, if that makes sense. If you guys would like just the security, I think we could make a motion to approve, I guess, just anything if there's a need. Yeah, we could just we could have you on record as approved if anybody were to cause a fuss. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll make a motion to approve the Sovereign Barbershop special event.
I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you guys, and if anything, thanks for coming and advertising the event here. We have 2 bulk item appeals. We have 1923 Jackson. Is there anyone here to speak on that?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for your patience through the meeting, sir. It's been a whirlwind today. Not a whirlwind, but a coaster, like just every type of topic came up today.
No, I have no, I am guilty of that. First of all, my garbage was placed out last Tuesday night, and I thought, because I had not paid any attention to the decoder ring that we've gotten in the last few years. We used to have a specific date that was picked up. So I put my garbage out there, and I have a picture, and you probably have, because you have one on the website. My question, and I spoke to Randy about this briefly before the meeting. I've talked to Randy in previous time. The first question is, why, with the little garbage I had out, why did anybody feel that it was necessary to pick up that date? Because I have an alert, if it wasn't picked up, if you never picked it up, I have an automatic alert system that I've had for the last 55 years that would have cleared this garbage back off the street that evening. That system, that alert system, is my wife, so I can assure you there was no safety issue or anything else. Okay, so that's the first question.
I'll answer both. After you ask your second question, I'll try to answer both. I think I've got an answer for the first, but go ahead with your second question.
Okay, the next question is, why, like I said, I got security cameras, and I've timed how much it took to pick this garbage up. The garbage truck was in the circle for, I'm on a cul-de-sac in the very last house, the end house, which are difficult to maneuver for any of your trucks. That garbage truck was in in front of my house for 5 minutes. The first 2 minutes was taking photos of the garbage and that, and which is probably more photos than I had at my wedding. Then it took him about 23 seconds to throw the garbage into the truck, and then it took another 2.5 minutes. I assume he was documenting it because the truck didn't move. So I don't understand why it's a 5-minute effort for that.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm asking that is because I finally went on your website and read some of the things. And one of the things in there is about snow plowing. And there's a long dissertation, especially about cul-de-sacs. And I knew this from experiences. We are way down there. We're like 3rd rated or 3rd priority. I can understand that. But the time it takes a snowplow to get down from entering to leaving is probably, the average one is about a minute and a half. There's one driver that takes about 2 to 3 minutes. The difference is the driver that takes 2 to 3 minutes actually plows the snow so it's not in the driveways. So I figured if it's gonna cost me $40 for this, I'm gonna get an opportunity to ask, why don't you use that money? I always thought it was the garbage truck drivers that were plowing snow, but Randy explained this morning that's not true. That you pay that extra money to the one individual that knows how to plow cul-de-sacs, that you actually teach these drivers, because if you call these places, they'll tell you, well, our drivers have 10 years experience of snow plowing. No, they don't. They got 1 year's experience 10 times.
So you told me you were going to ask 2 questions. You asked 3, and I'm going to answer
I
all 3
probably
of them
had
for
20.
you. Don't worry.
Did I get my $40 worth?
So-
That's what I want to know.
So I'm gonna answer all 3 as best I don't mean to say as best I understood them. You spoke very well, but if I make sure I capture everything in it. So your first question is, why pick it up at all? If it's not your bulk day, why not just leave it there? You've got an automatic system to bring the garbage back.
Correct. That's
So,
well put.
so the answer to that question is not everyone has your system, and in general, if we
be happy to
if
rent that
if we were to as a city, I'm speaking as a city, we'll get to your actual appeal, but just to answer the question, because it is a good question, as a city, we take a risk. If we could be very hard. We could say that if you leave trash out on a non-amnesty day, we could just leave it there. But not everyone is as friendly or cooperative as you are, so we could end up potentially with a lot of areas with trash sitting out there for quite a while, and then that becomes a code enforcement concern. So I don't know if there's a perfect system, but we think that the least bad plan is if somebody leaves something out on a non-amnesty day, and this is with an assumption that they know it's a non-amnesty day, they're choosing to get billed. It's not always the case, that's why you're here, but that is our answer to question number one. I can go to question number 2 and then 3, and then we can totally go back and forth because you are, honestly, sir, I want to hang out with you. You're a very cool guy. But let me jump to question number 2. So why all the pictures? Why all the time taken to document that? You also, when you spoke about it, there was something you said that gave me an impression that if this is your impression, I want to correct it, not just for you, but anybody here. So when we charge for any sort of extra pickup or even for your trash bill, the city is not making a profit off of it at all. Every year, just so you know, we charge residents a flat rate for your garbage bill. It's currently $20.25 per month. Next year, by ordinance, it'll be $20.50 per month. With that, $20.25 per month with 13,000 households participating in the city's garbage program. Then we have the 2 cans that everybody has the ability to use, and about half the city does. Then we have a free amnesty day once a month for everybody. And then we do have these pickups, but we're doing that all with a flat rate plus our special pickup cost. That leads to, at the end of the year, depending on the year, a $1 million to $1.1 million deficit. There's actually not enough money collected in your monthly bill to pay for the department and the fees we have to pay for the landfill. We charge residents a flat rate, but the landfill company, they charge us per ton, $66 per ton, and Portage averages 17,000 tons per year. So $66 times 17,000 tons, it actually is nowhere near what's needed to both run a department and pay those bills. So why it is we take the pictures is because when somebody, again, with the, for $20.25, oh, how do we make up that deficit? Why aren't we just completely underwater yet? So the city of Portage gets $3.6 million about every year from our share of the county income tax when you pay your local income tax. The city budgets and has budgeted since about 2013 $1.1 million each year to cover that deficit. Portage actually spends a lot of money to make sure that the trash bill has been able to stay low, and that's been the case since about 2013. I do not know if it's the best system, but it's the system that more or less has been created and has been sustained to date. So when we charge for somebody exceeding what they're getting with the flat rate, which is the 2 cans and the amnesty week, that revenue that we get from charging it, it's not enough to get us to a point where we're even breaking even, but it is important that it's documented because it's not just you, sir. There are people who are, I gotta be very careful, but I'm not the most careful guy. People who are much less sincere than you will sometimes put trash out and then make up a somewhat outlandish story, and they will claim that there was no trash there at all, and in fact people used to, and so the department takes the pictures because it's how we document that we can prove that it happened. You're here explaining a true story, and I appreciate that. But if you came here, maybe you didn't see that they were taking pictures. If you came here and said, I didn't have any trash, you're billing me for something that didn't exist, the pictures are so that we have the proof. So with the cul-de-sacs, there's actually a whole lot of literature on that from like a city planning perspective. I'm so glad you're here. I love that your house and your street is here, but I'm of the opinion generally that we should avoid making cul-de-sacs wherever we can, because in general it is very tough to be able to plow and all of that. But that's actually a bigger discussion. If you want to come to my office hours, I can show you some of the different literature on city planning and cul-de-sacs. But you guys are grandfathered in. You have nothing to worry about. We're not getting rid of your street.
My wife will be happy to hear that.
It sounds like what you're saying to your situation is you out of habit, and again, there's people that make that mistake. You're saying that you out of habit, you put it out thinking it's the first of the month. We're thinking about the change in the amnesty week, calendar. If you had remembered that, you wouldn't have put it out. You would have waited.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
I'll make a motion that we grant the appeal for $40.
Wait a minute, can I ask another question?
No, you just won.
She asked the question after we vote, if you like.
For $40, I get a limited number of questions? I mean, for
Yes.
for zero,
Well, we don't have a second yet.
okay.
Is there a second? Oh,
I'll second.
all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. You can ask a question, though, sir. Free.
No, I guess I forgot it. I got so excited about saving $40. But be careful what you ask for, because I might show up in your office one day asking questions.
I would absolutely love it. My record so far, even though I try to advertise my office hours, my record so far is I've had 12 people show up. So if I could, and for all the talk and for all the things that people talk about in the city, I feel like a lot more people would be not just informed, but if I've got any bad ideas, people could really talk me out of them if they came to these office hours. So I would appreciate it.
I do still want to say this, is that my observation, living on the cul-de-sac, I've had the opportunity to see when our neighbor lady was sick, and the response of the police department and the fire department are phenomenal. They are, I would put them up against anybody in the state. I would like to see that with snow plowing, by getting whatever company you're hiring to do that, to train the people, because there is a system that one individual can do, that has done in the past, and when he's come down our cul-de-sac, I've always called Kimberly and told her, I don't know who that is, but tell that person a good job. So it's not because it's a cul-de-sac, it's because people are not trained.
I can tell you that there is no company unless you consider the street department to be a company, and I kind of do, as Randy knows,
Wait a
but...
minute, Randy told me earlier that the street department does not do the people doing the.
The sanitation department does not do so Randy is the head of two departments. He's the head of the sanitation department, which is the garbage, and he's the head of the street department, which does a number of things, including the plowing.
So, wait a minute, he's not the head of plowing, are you?
Yes, sir.
He might have been
He might have
trying
been the guy
to...
in the pickup truck
He
that
might
knows how
have
to
he
do
might
it.
have been the guy driving. He doesn't want to admit that he's the guy that can drive the plow truck that well. But I'll tell you what, if it's not you, Randy, I'd like to find out who that guy... Do you have a picture of the truck? Like we can zoom in and see the guy's face? Because I kind of want to give him a medal for being the plow truck driver extraordinaire.
I can't catch him, because I usually look at the video later, and all I know, because sometimes, usually they end up coming down our street at night, because I understand we're not.
Randy, the trucks have numbers, right?
Yes, they
If
all
you
have numbers.
next time it snows, and I hope it doesn't snow at all in 2025 for budget reasons. No offense to anybody, or at least it needs to snow. It needs to snow between 8:30 and 3 would be ideal. But all said and done, if you ever catch the truck that you think is best, could you send me an email of that and Randy? Because I actually would like to know what the best, who the best cul-de-sac driver. Maybe we could have a contest, Randy.
Anyway, thank you very much, and I'm sorry, I hope you are.
You have nothing to be sorry about.
See you, if you see me again, it's gonna be something else.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for explaining it so well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question?
Yes, sir. You're not the next petitioner, are you?
Well, my name's Ed.
Oh, is your address on Willowdale?
Yeah, Willowdale, 286466, anybody wanna buy a duplex? I'm out here.
Okay. Well, you're the next guy up. So if you'd like to come up, I'll bring you up, and you can have a seat here if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Come on up. So that gets us to our next item of business, 2864 and 2866 Willowdale. We gotta, darn it, now we gotta be really nice, because this guy's gonna be so upset if we're really tough on him after the last one. No. And I'm sorry, could you state your name? Nice to meet you, Ed. Sorry, so you wanted to give a suggestion first, or?
Yeah, well, this is silly, that I got charged for $40, which I'm not too worried about that. I'm worried about when are they gonna put sidewalks out there in Willowdale, so that way it kind of divide where the sidewalk would put the garbage and next to the pole over there. Anyways, the idea was they missed the pickup, and then I remind them, I say, you know what, they got NIPSCO out there trying to put some lines or something, they got flow flags. I said, we need to move this garbage out of here so they can work better. Thank you. Yeah, there you go.
So I can tell you that when it comes to sidewalks, and I don't know if Do you know if I
I've been
describe?
there 20 years, I haven't seen no improvement, and the taxes keep going up, and I'm
Well,
just
and-
tired of this place.
Well, and I would recommend,
It's hard, it's not easy being a landlord by myself, and a lot of trees falling down, hurricane last year, killed a woman over here in Indiana, so we heard about that. Went right through a window, there's a tree right next to it over there by the building, they're waiting for the tree to come down so they get insurance. I said, what happened if it falls in my building? Then you have a lawsuit. But the thing is, I just got tired of putting up with this, so I'm just gonna put the garbage out by the church instead, because I don't wanna be charged for putting out garbage. I'm getting charged with extra for that, and I'm paying $175 over there, and I feel like it's not fair if I don't live in the unit. I'm a homeowner occupied, rent the other side, but sometimes I stay with my mom, 'cause she's a widow, 85 years old, so I help her out in Willow, over here in in Portage, but she lives in a different direction, in Buttercup, I haven't, yeah. But anyways, the idea is we try to help out each other, and I don't get nothing but, one rent from one side, and it's hard for me to come up with that extra money, because the union sucks. It's been down 2 years, they haven't called me. And over here in Hobart, in Maryville, I'm a millwright carpenter, and I've been in the trades for over 50 years. I've been in the rentals 40 years, and I just feel it's time for me to just sell out, buy my own home, and another city, probably, private home, and with sidewalks. Because this is getting out of hand, and I know that belongs to Indiana Water. They build some water sewers and sewage system. I was here when they did it, and I just feel like, it's unfair. They charged me extra $40, and they only took 10 minutes. I seen them out there, and I even give them a bottle of water. Say, hey, you guys want some water? And they did it in 10 minutes. I wish I could make that kind of money in 10 minutes to load up all that garbage.
Well,
I said, where's the dump truck, the big one? Well, we can't get over here because they don't have enough room because of the wires, and they don't want to hit it with the bobcat or whatever to catch it with, put it in the dump truck. And they just came in a regular truck and they crushed it all up. I said, well, that ruins your hydraulic systems. I know a mechanic too. And I said, well, it'd be easier, but that's up to them. I'm sorry. I got a lot of prank calls here. I'm sorry, I'll shut it off. Anyways, getting back to the unit, I just feel like we are supposed to put it out by the 1st of the month. Is that what it is? Or before the 1st of the month? A couple of days, so we'll miss out on it, also too, tires, how many tires can we put out there, so forth, things like that.
Yeah, so, and if you don't mind, I can try to respond to some of that, just as I heard you, because I just want to say a couple things real quick. So you mentioned and you wanted the suggestion to be about the sidewalks, and you talked about the taxes, and I recommend...
Yeah, taxes keep going up.
Oh, yeah, and for the record, I don't have like a button that does that.
kids in school,
Taxes in Indiana are done by a certain property tax
Tenants have
equation.
kids sometimes, yeah.
But I think that
Nice
I'd be
place
happy to
for
explain
professional.
that if you want to come to my next office hours too. I'd be happy to invite you there, and I can explain how the property tax system works in Indiana. Because despite I'm a taxpayer too, I own a home, and
Yeah,
I
well,
don't. And to put it really simply, like
Yeah.
it doesn't get the city what
Can't
we
get it,
want
yeah.
either. But all said and which is the odd part about it, it makes nobody happy. But the thing about it is that so with the sidewalks, if I could give you an area that I'm sure you know, if you could think of the intersection of Monet and Mulberry, also called
I live
Montelier.
up Millbury and Stone,
Yep.
yeah, between there.
And then think about
Across
from
the
there,
church.
going south to Monet and Stone, okay? If we were to decide to do right now with the current prices, and this is not well, it's a complaint, but it's not like I'm frustrated exactly. If we decided that we wanted to do sidewalks from from Monet and Mulberry to Monet and Stone, it would cost about $126,000 with the current prices for us to just do that stretch of road with sidewalk, which is a huge amount of money compared to our city sidewalk fund, which is currently just over $90,000. So with our actual fund that we can use explicitly for sidewalks, the current prices make it very difficult to be able to do a long stretch of sidewalks. So what we do is when we're doing a road project, like the Blake and the Independence project we did last year, when that's a big project, we build sidewalks into the cost of the overall road work most times that we can. I have scratched my head. I have like pondered the sidewalk situation, because if I won the lottery, I mean, I would probably donate at least half of it to the city because there's so many things I want to do. But that said, I would put sidewalks in places that are probably not well on track to get them. The sidewalk is a challenging situation, but I want you to know I sympathize because I've got kind of an odd situation on my house. I'm the only house on my side of the street with sidewalks because it was built when the rule was there. And so, again, it's just kind of it's an odd situation, and it's not the easiest one to solve. When it comes to the cost, and like I was saying with the previous gentleman, we aren't making money off the pickup and that short time of work to get the material. We're charged by the tonnage when that material comes to the transfer site. Our transfer site is currently in Lake Station. It's Republic's transfer site. Every garbage truck in the city of Portage has to leave the city at least twice a day, and in the summer it often has to leave the city 3 times a day. I've asked if we've ever hit a record of 4. We've never hit a record of 4 so far. That would be a tough day. Every garbage truck in Portage has to leave the city at least twice a day, sometimes 3. It goes to Clay Street and it drops off the trash at the transfer site there, and the city is charged $66 per ton of trash. And as I say, we get at least $17,000 tons. $17,000 would be nice if that was the whole bill. 17,000 tons of trash at least per year, and then you multiply that by, $66 per ton. And we charge the residents a flat rate, and it's an important flat rate that we charge because, quite frankly, it wouldn't work if we billed the residents per ton. That would be a very efficient system. If we had like a weight truck where we pick up your garbage and we weigh it before we take it, and then you get a bill that's exactly like your weight for the year, I don't think some people would be really happy with their bill, probably. I know some people who don't throw a lot out.
Yeah, get some extra money and go to junkyard.
But I say that because, and just to give an example with myself, and again, I'm not like trying to brag, it's just like the situation I'm in. Just like every Portage resident, I'm currently by ordinance entitled to 2 cans, but I only use 1, and sometimes my can is full, to the top on a Monday, and sometimes it's about halfway there. But as somebody who never, to put it really simply, uses both of my cans, I'm still paying the same rate as a person who's getting 2 cans, and maybe that person chooses to fill them both up to the top. In a way, me paying $20.25, and if things stay on track for next year, $20.50, I'm actually subsidizing somebody who's contributing to more tonnage, even though I'm giving a lot less trash. Now you might say, well, there's a whole question of what's fair, but what's really big is as a city, we agree that it's better for all residents to pay a flat rate rather than to charge residents per tonnage. We can't escape the fact, though, that once we get the garbage, the city has to pay per tonnage. And so because of that, we have to consider that $20.25 per household, and there are 13,000 households in the city that are participating in the trash program, each paying $20.25, we have to take that money because we're not actually allowed to take property tax money from the general fund and move it over that way. None of your money that you pay in your property tax goes towards, it can't go to the garbage pickup. Now, the income tax we get from the county, it can, because it's called Economic Development Income Tax, or EDIT. That has to go to economic development, and in Indiana, everything is economic development, even subsidizing the trash bill. And so that $20.25 per month, that gets every household 2 trash cans. It gets you a free amnesty week, or an amnesty day, once per month. And then I would say that our prices, I can tell you that $40 for a special pickup, it is a number, but I would, not that we're trying to compete with other companies like, I don't want to know if I name them, like there's the Uber for Trash company that's around, is that the Trash Cyclops? You can call Junk Luggers, and again, I'm not inviting them to make a commercial where they compare their rates to us, but I would put us competitive with other places you could call for a special pickup. I only say that because, again, I get that anytime we're charging a resident something, it's a cost, but you also have to consider that if you have any friends in Hobart or South Haven, Liberty Township, I'm gesturing where I know some people live who are here in the audience, they're often paying a lot more than Portage residents are, usually for 1 can, no amnesty day, and if they need a special pickup, they have to call a private company and go with that private company's policies and prices and their schedule. Whereas being able to call, I think, the same day, is that right, Randy? You can call and do a special pickup and they'll usually come the same day if it's early enough?
Yes, it is.
There's something to be said for our level of service and our price. So I understand the frustration, and looking at the picture of, you know, what was dropped off, this is a significant pile, and that's where it's important to note, and there is sometimes a difference between somebody forgetting, you know, that it's not their amnesty day and putting out a box, or I think we had a vacuum cleaner one time, whereas, and I understand that there are reasons and things happen, but this is a significant pile put out on a non-amnesty day. And going back to the question that was asked by the previous gentleman, and I know you're still here, you can kind of see the difference between if we left this here for weeks, we'd be getting a lot of complaints from the city.
It'll accumulate and get higher. But,
Yeah.
you know, that was in 2 months, you know, it wasn't like it was 1 month. And my neighbor, he threw out some stuff, he's my witness, he went out there and helped me out, tenant. I'm like, yes, sir.
This wasn't sitting out for 2 months, was it?
Yeah.
You had this sitting
Yeah,
out for 2
The
months?
trucks kept going by, and they're working on that area over by the cemetery, and they said, well, I'm sure they pick it up by now. No, none of them picked it up, you know, these big city trucks.
I don't know if
So I guess
that
they've
sounds
been
like a
too busy,
normal
their mind wasn't
situation.
thinking about picking up the
Randy, do you have
garbage.
a comment or an explanation on that, or some clarification?
Well, there was an email, and did code enforcement get involved and contact you regarding this pile?
No, I just
No?
thought I'd help out NIPSCO, because they were doing some work out
Okay.
there, and they put some
So
flags.
we
They
do have a
gas and
policy
electric,
that
little
when you place bulk items to the curb, that you don't put them within 3 feet of a pole, vehicle, tree, or lines, or anything else like that. So code enforcement, I don't know how long this was sitting out there. I don't know. All I know is on this date, we were given a request by code enforcement to go pick up this pile by hand because our grapple truck could not get close to that pole.
That's what I said right there.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
So,
and that's actually a great ordeal effort by the department than when something is just left out, even on an amnesty day. And if I could compare that, and I don't know if this is what happened here, we've had it happen just by way of example. I can think of at least 3 examples this year where someone had a lot of trash, like junk, that's just in their yard. It's not on the curb waiting for pickup, but a lot's in the yard, and it becomes a code enforcement issue. And there are points where, especially if a property is abandoned, we'll have the street department go and pick all that up, and we usually bill the homeowner. Again, I don't think that's exactly what happened here, but it's being appealed as a special pickup. But for the work involved and for the material, Randy, did they have to pick up the vegetation as well?
yeah, we did pick up the vegetation.
See, and that's more of a code enforcement thing, because under normal circumstances, we wouldn't pick up the vegetation, am I right? Like if somebody left those tree spots, well, I mean, we pick up limbs, right? I guess
Yes.
this is more like a limb pickup then, right?
Yes, it would
Not like
be
a bag of grass. Sorry, I'm confusing it.
That's
Like,
a special day for that, like leaves and all that, they got a vacuum and so forth.
well, I just hope I've at least explained the policy and kind of the nuance and
Sometimes
pieces
my
to it.
tenants, They leave garbage out there, and then they move on the first, and then they got a pile of garbage out there, I can't help it, you know, it's like, I either put it out there, or
You are the landlord. You own the. Oh.
the bank does too.
And I don't mean I've been a landlord before. Don't worry. I'm not using it as a bad word, sir. We're good people. I got another guy smiling in the back.
Good people and bad people, they're good at the beginning, at the end, they got the police over there sometimes, I just had enough of this city here. And then the city don't let you pick up anything, because you gotta have a scrapping license. I'm like, whoa, I was picking up a plastic slide across the street, the gentleman gave me the slide, he went to work, he left the babysitter behind, and they arrested me for that. I was on a bicycle, grabbing it across the street. That's ridiculous, I was gonna build the kids some swings over there, forget it, I ain't doing nothing here, I'm out of here, I'm gonna fix the place up. I said, this is ridiculous. I said, I don't need to be, get involved. A lot of city here puts a lot of good stuff out there. And why don't you guys just suggest and put a yard sale? You make some money, and then that way you guys could break even or somehow. A lot of people do that too.
Be a neat
They
idea
pick
for
up
a special
scrap
find.
because they
Yeah.
can't pay their bills. I see a lot of that going on. So I put it out there for them sometimes.
Well, and again, I appreciate your time, and I hope that I could at least provide some clarity. I'll turn it over to the board, of course, for any questions or comments.
I think,
Yeah.
from my
What's your
opinion,
name?
My name is Banta, Austin Banta.
Like Zapata?
Yeah,
That's cool.
nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
he used to be a president, Zapata. Yeah, he gave up Mexico, all them cities, states, California, he's the one. Yeah, a long time
I'm
ago.
going to say to Jamie, though,
Texas.
I think from my opinion, $40 is pretty reasonable for that amount of pickup. So I would make a motion that we decline the appeal on this one.
So you gonna let me slide on this $40, sir?
he's motioning that you'll have to pay the $40. And the question is there a second?
Why why you gonna charge me $40? I got
Because
a
I think
bill
that's-
right here, I still gotta pay, sir.
I just think it's a reasonable fee to pick up that much material.
I mean, what?
The
is it
$40
that
covers
you
up to a
put
4 by 10 square foot area, and that's about what that is.
I didn't put the branches there, the neighbor did. The branches didn't even get picked up that day, it was just this, that was it.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll
I
second.
came here for a reason, I didn't just wake up for nothing, you know?
Stand, but upon review, there's a motion and a second to sustain the charge. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then that passes, so. Well, thank you for coming, and
Thank you for coming in.
Why don't you get the money from Donald Trump instead of sending money to other countries, you know, idiot, you know, instead of minding his own business. That's what he should do, stupid president. You know, it's ridiculous.
again, I
I'm
thank
an
you for
American
coming.
citizen, you know, I have rights, that's why I came here to speak up.
Absolutely, and
Born and raised here, and Donald
and
Trump ain't gonna do shit.
we are all American citizens too, and we're proud to be here, and
And the
we
law is
again
ridiculous
appreciate you
here.
coming, and
I just passed up police department. They pile up like, you know, because they want money. They want money, you know, for the city. I know, I've seen a lot of improvement. They used to have the police department over there by the library. First time I came here on a bicycle. Just because I parked my truck, I got a DWI. I'm like, I'm riding a bicycle back home because I know better. No, I got told in. I should never bought this place. Should have left money and earned this money in the bank. I never got into this place.
Sir, got your comment.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Well, you guys have a good day. God
you
bless.
too, please have a good day.
You guys change your mind about $40. I don't have $40 right now. I'll pay you $174 until I sell out.
So that,
Buy it, $400,000, everybody want to buy it. 1 acre land, 2-car garage. Nice place for family. I had enough.
so that'll get us to the claims, and there are actually 3 different claims dockets.
I want to live in peace.
So we'll start with the first regular. Did everyone have a chance to look at the first regular?
I'll make a motion, we approve the accounts for the regular bills.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That'll get us to the first payroll.
I'll make a motion, we approve the docket for the payroll, the first payroll.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then that gets us to the third payroll.
Make a motion, we approve the third payroll in the amount of $2,038,259.64.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then under other business deemed property brought before the board, I'm aware of at least one. Lynn, would you mind coming up? Yes, please. So I want to be kind of brief. I just want to make sure I got it. You guys were all shared the overtime compensation policy. When we passed the employee handbook earlier this year, it had a change in the way that most departments had previously been doing the overtime for the non-exempt, non-bargaining employees. I don't personally think it was a bad idea, but upon review, changing that in the middle of the year created some difficulties for the departments. We have some time to prepare that for the next year. I only say that in full transparency. It's not something that we're looking to necessarily keep this way forever upon a future review, but for the time being, our recommendation is to formally adopt what had been the previous policy to at least get us through the year to avoid some of the, I would say, some stress and some planning issues that came about with it. Did I capture that all right, Lynn?
Perfect, yeah, good morning. When we released the employee handbook back in May, we basically put best practices in and federal and state regulations. But as you know, Portage can always go over and above some of those, and this is one of those areas where they had executed it a little bit more generously than we had actually put in that handbook. So it was requested that we default back to that for now, and then maybe revisit that at the first of the year. So that's the new language that you have in front of you.
So is our motion to restore to the previous method?
For this.
For the rest of the year?
Yes, for the execution of paying overtime. Yes.
I'll make a motion that we restore the overtime compensation policy to the way it was
Yes,
for the rest of this year.
perfect. Thank you.
A second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other matters to come before the board? And if not, is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn?
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we're closed.